June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, tragically crashed shortly after taking off from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport in Ahmedabad, India. The flight was en route to London Gatwick Airport, carrying 242 people, 232 passengers, and 12 crew members. Among the passengers were 169 Indian nationals, 53 British nationals, 7 Portuguese nationals, and 1 Canadian national. The crash occurred around 1:38 p.m. Indian Standard Time, approximately 1 minute after takeoff. The aircraft reached an altitude of just 625 feet before losing radar contact. Eyewitnesses reported hearing multiple explosions and observing thick black smoke near the Meghani Nagar residential area, where the plane ultimately crashed. Emergency response teams, including National Disaster Response Force, NDRF personnel, were promptly deployed to the crash site. The intense fire fueled by the aircraft's heavy load of aviation fuel for the long-haul flight hampered rescue operations. As of now, the exact number of casualties has not been officially confirmed, and investigations are ongoing. Air India Chairman Natarajan Chandrasekaran expressed deep sorrow over the incident, pledging support for the affected families and emergency response teams. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation (DGCA) and Air India have initiated investigations to determine the cause of the crash. Emergency response teams, including the NDRF, were dispatched quickly, but rescue efforts were challenged by a massive fire fueled by the plane's fuel load. The cause of the crash is still under investigation by the DGCA and Air India. This incident is particularly significant as it represents the first ever crash involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner since its introduction in 2011. The first major Air India fatal incident since the bombing of Flight 182 in 1985. The aviation community, passengers, families, and officials are awaiting answers, while national mourning continues. Authorities have promised transparency and full support for the victims' families as investigations proceed. Preliminary reports indicate that the aircraft issued a Mayday call shortly after departure, but lost communication with air traffic control before crashing into the Meghani Nagar neighborhood. Eyewitnesses reported hearing multiple explosions and observing thick black smoke near the crash site. The aircraft was carrying a full fuel load for the long-haul flight to London, which contributed to the intensity of the fire. While the investigation is ongoing, some experts have speculated that a technical malfunction, such as a power failure, could have played a role in the crash. However, these are preliminary hypotheses and no official conclusions have been drawn yet. The DGCA and Air India have both launched investigations into the crash. A technical team has been dispatched to assess the cause of the incident. At the time of the crash, the plane was fueled for the long-haul flight to London, which contributed to the intensity of the fire. As the investigation progresses, authorities are expected to provide more detailed information regarding the cause of the crash. Both President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed deep sorrow over the tragic crash of Air India Flight 171 in Ahmedabad on June 12, 2025. President Murmu referred to the incident as a heart-rending disaster, conveying her profound grief over the loss of lives. She extended her condolences to the families affected by the tragedy. Prime Minister Modi described the crash as heartbreaking beyond words. In a statement, he expressed that the tragedy had stunned and saddened the nation and offered his thoughts to those affected. He also mentioned being in touch with ministers and authorities working to assist those impacted by the incident. Prime Minister Modi described the crash as heartbreaking beyond words. In a statement, he expressed that the tragedy had stunned and saddened the nation and offered his thoughts to those affected. He also mentioned being in touch with ministers and authorities working to assist those impacted by the incident. Deeply saddened by the tragic loss of lives in the Ahmedabad plane crash, my heartfelt condolences to the families of the departed souls. May they find strength during this unimaginable time, and may the departed rest in eternal peace.